Okay, tonight's feature is plot speckle. Basically, I have Psionicus is my thing. They create tools and technology and only they can use. And it's kind of hazardous for regular people to use them at all. So, this is from the first book, Dead Man's Hand. There are safer ways of doing this. Honestly, Courtney, I have specs. Trying for a parental note of concern, Quinn's contact instead came across as a high school hallmark. Notoriously difficult to reach, the director had finally granted her an audience over coffee. If things at the Enhanced Ability Registry weren't enough to keep him busy, Mr. Hart's covert position as head of the Eagles eliminated any possibility of spare time. Despite dueling duties, Richard had taken time out of his swing through town just to speak with her. "You're not going to stop me, are you?" Describing her discovery, Courtney expected discouragement in the pursuit, or at the very least, some measure of disapproval. Upending her expectations, Director Hart took another sip of his latte. Glancing out the window at a passing tour bus, the black-suited top op remained aloof. Equipped with proprietary technology blinking above one ear, the other telepath's disposition was impossible for Quinn to determine. "Hey, your brain, your choice." Apparently resigned to her decision, the director had likely other things on his mind, ranging from biker vampires prowling the nation's highways to enhanced immigrants leaping over border fences in a single bound. Setting his cup back on his platter, Richard reached under the table for the small white bag he brought in. Sliding it across the table, Hart indicated its contents were intended for the reporter. "Brought you something." "Richard, how thoughtful." Parting its tiny rope handles, Courtney reached inside the bleached paper bag. Inside, her fingers identified a rectangular jeweler's box. Pulled into the open, it was heavy enough to contain a necklace or bracelet of significant value. Pulling open the box and its squeaky new hinges, Quinn beheld a pair of side lockers vested in tissue paper, identical to the director's. "They're not for you." "They're not?" As per standard procedure, the agent issued a contradiction ahead of his coming explanation. Taking a closer look at the ordinary-looking earpieces, Courtney failed to estimate their expense. In addition to their purchase price, many layers of value have been presumably added by the Eagles telemechanics. Closing the box, Quinn returned it to the small shopping bag. "They're an insurance policy," outlined Hart, "for any unfortunates helping you." "Think they're necessary?" Quinn replied, feeling vaguely defensive. "They were in San Francisco," described the director, tan forehead wrinkling. "At the dawn of its Haight-Ashbury period, the Bay Area's telepaths discovered LSD. Riding a countercultural wave, the city's hearts added their own version of the mentograph to the mix. Combining side boosters with recreational drugs, the reach of their new ideas spread rapidly. Judging the fabric of society to be at risk, Hart's predecessor decisively took matters into his own hands, snapping up their psyche transmitter as a prize of war in the operation's aftermath. "I don't expect you to understand, Richard. This is about my family's history." "Oh, want to talk history?" Executing an unexpected gesture of intimacy, Richard removed his sunglasses. If there was an ER regulation regarding keeping them on, the director alone had the authorization to ignore the edict. When appearing in public, agents of the registry stayed in character and stuck to the script, stepping out of his role as the near-literal boogeyman of Psionicus and supernaturals nationwide. The stoically square-jawed Hart answered his own question. "After years of memory taps, I double-check which buildings exist before stepping inside." Studying the other telepath's red-rimmed eyes, Courtney recognized levels of chronic exhaustion typical of high-paying, high-stress positions. Even if exaggerating, Director Hart made a fine point. The harder one pushed the boundaries of psi abilities, the greater the possibility of unexpected side effects became. Shaded with personal experience, Quinn knew his testimony was the closest thing to a warning she'd received from the Eagle. "Things will be different after this," she predicted. "I wanted to give you a heads up." Following her literal dreams into a dusty storm cellar months ago, Chicago's Queen of Hearts uncovered the first piece of a century-old puzzle left by Archibald. Sitting in the cobweb-covered barber's chair, Courtney was struck with an overwhelming sense of possession. In the following days, she dedicated herself to researching the darkest chapters of the Ford family's collective history. Securing the aid of the deck's morally and financially compromised telemechanic, Quinn's occult project inched closer to conclusion. I like doing business with Del Negro, admitted the director. I'll miss him. Concluding their meeting, Richard rose from his chair, pushing the brutalist design of thick wooden planks and white metal pieces back into place with a screech. The director returned his sunglasses indoors to their traditional resting place. In the last attempt to clarify her planned actions, Quinn offered her best rationalization to Hart in the moments before his departure. I don't hate Tom, argued the Queen. He's just in the way. This is on you, ruled the Eagle. If there's a mess, I'll be the one cleaning it up.